Okay guys, I'm going to start the highlight video with my biggest call of the day because it was just so nice and I thought I could break it down and give kind of the anatomy of it. CRUS, and I start most days assuming the market gives any. When I look for charts at night, I try to find a small list if I can, you know, at least 3 or 4 stocks that are fairly beaten up, 4 or 5 days down in a row. In the case of CRUS, you have what's been a pretty strong stock, right? I mean, it, you know, gapped up here and has really been holding up well till the last few days. So these are better candidates than something that's you know, been down for 6 to 8 months and then down big 3 days in a row. I like these better. They have a better chance of bouncing nicely. So anyway, CRUS, you had the 4 days down in a row. You had price support right here. So this was one of my favorites going into today. Now I'll add today's candle. You can see the bounce. Now the problem is it gapped up a little bit, which makes it a little bit more difficult for me when they gap up. I would actually prefer they gap down because I have a better entry that I use. But anyway, it gapped up and then started just chopping around. Okay. Now a lot of times when you get this, let me back that out a little bit. When you get this kind of choppy sideways, no discernible setup using 5-minute candles, I like to use a bigger time frame like 15s. And see if I have any kind of clean stair-step look to it. I'll zoom in so you can see it better. Same chart, now 15-minute candles. So now you've got a high, lower high still. Remember that daily chart, super beaten up at price support, okay, and kind of hanging around here around yesterday's close. So I called it, if it broke this candle's high, which it didn't, you had 2 equal tops here, so now I had a distinct 37.93 entry. That was my idea. And the stop goes below this candle right here, 37.69. Okay, so not a bad risk reward. 24 cents risk. And what the actual trigger on a bounce play, or not, I shouldn't say the trigger, but the catalyst that should get it going if it trades in a range for a while, like CRUS did, right? It's in a range, it's sitting right here in the middle of its range. The actual catalyst where you're going to get shorts to cover and longs to pile back in is a high of day break. Okay, so this is really where we're wanting CRUS to get to, and if it does, with that daily chart I just showed you, we should get some nice momentum to the upside. So using the intraday candles, this is how I came about the idea to get in here and to stop here. Okay, so if the entry here, it starts to move up, if we can get through the high of the day, we're going to have a nice trade. If it comes all the way back down below this little base, I don't want in because it's probably not going to pan out. So that's the thinking. I probably would have even been comfortable buying this on a high of day break if I could get a decent chart set up to give me a decent stop. But this was our way to get in early. Okay, 37.93, stop 24 cents below. Now we come up and test the high of the day. Didn't get through. Came back down, but it didn't stop out. And I told everybody I'm hanging on to this because it has nice potential to really rip if we get a high of day break. It's going to have to stop me out, or it's going to be a nice trade. That was my attitude, and the market was staying in a range early too. So when the SPY finally moved, I said, hey, this CRUS could really be a nice one, and ended up, let me pan out here. It's easier to see if I pan out. All the way to 40.19. That's a $2.20. Here's our entry. Use an arrow real quick here. So here's our entry and our stop right there. Okay. From here we get this beautiful move, $2.26 in our favor on 24 cents risk, and it was just it just worked out just like I thought it might. And the reason, if I sound like I'm bragging, I am, because how often do things work out just like you thought they might, right? I just kept telling people, if CRUS breaks the high of the day, we've caught one today, so I didn't want to give up on it. I'm real proud of this one. It was a really nice trade, and I also want to spend some time giving credit again to some of our all-stars. Well, first, one of our I hate to say regular member because everybody in there's an all-star to me, but one of our members with black font, how about that? His initials DH, posted EDU when it looked like this. I don't remember if we already had this on watch or if he's the one that found it, but he's the one that alerted the room, hey, EDU getting close to a break here, and I had already said I liked EDU if it breaks the high of the day, 15.13. Probably, I think, because DH pointed it out earlier in the day. So it was all thanks to DH, and my call was 15.13. What was the stop? 18 cents below. All right, 15.13. Look what happens when it breaks the high of the day. Beautiful move there, and we're sellers into that. And the reason for the call, again, take today's candle out of it. You had this monster gap down, and then lately, it's hard to see here because of this huge volume, but lately it's been getting volume spikes. So I liked it over this base. I thought the high of day break could get it there. Doesn't look like much now, but again, you can see that very nice move, and hats off to DH for putting it back on our radar and allowed a lot of us to get it. Shady, one of our all-stars. And I'm not a big fan of trading right in the opening few minutes, but Shady called Dollar General, DG, at 51.15. Stop at the low of the day, so about 15 cents below. And from 51.15, made it all the way to 52.49. That's $1.34 in our favor, 15 cents risk. Great call by Shady. Another one of our all-stars, Wayne, posted Riverbed meeting the parameters that we look for. Riverbed was really strong, and this 3-candle pullback to the 520, the 5-minute candle 20 period moving average. Wayne called it over this candle with a stop below this candle, 23.35, and 8 cent risk. Look at that. So there's a trigger, 8 cents risk, and it ended up moving up to 23.80 something, 23.82. So 47 cent move on 8 cents risk. Really nice call by Wayne. And then Stephen B, another one of our all-stars. I mean, talk about picking the bottom clean. He called Coach today at 53.20 with a 20-cent stop, a 53 stop, 20 cents below. And I mean, he's picked it clean. He caught it within a nickel of the bottom of the low of the day. And Coach from 53.20 to 54.77. $1.57 in our favor on 20 cents risk. Beautiful call by Stephen B. And Stephen B also called Hog on this little tiny base break. All right, so right about there. The call on Hog was 42.17, 9 cents stop. And from there went over 42.60 on 9 cents risk. So trust me, there were several other good calls in there. I just wanted to grab a few at the end of the day to highlight in the video. But those were my favorites. I did have a couple early stop outs for a dime here and a dime there on Ross G, R-O-S-G. I should have known better, but had great volume. And I thought it might get going. I think I called it here with a stop here, and it just couldn't get. But look at that volume, and it was near breakout territory on the daily above this long base. So that was an early failure. Had a couple other small stop outs as well. Newbie, one of our members, I want to give him credit for First Solar. Are you ready for this? When First Solar, and this is kind of a side benefit of chat, you never know who's going to be the rising star that day, but Newbie, when First Solar looked like this, said, hey, FSLR might do something here. I think he had it on watch because of the big volume gap up, and it was finally sneaking up out of this base. That's where he typed into chat, First Solar might do something here. And man, was he right. Moved up a huge amount from there, so a great alert there. And there's several of those each day too. Steve C posted FDO, and I'll end it with this. Posted FDO as a long. You ready for this? This was beautiful too. Right about there, and I mean, look at the subsequent move on that one. So you know, even when I'm slacking, there's usually somebody picking up my slack, and great teamwork in there today. I'm not going to babble anymore. We will put out another video tomorrow from the highlights in our chat room. All right, have a good night.